up in the morning, along with coffee, toast, and cake. If you're like the old Stone Roadie, you like to wake and bake. Now let's join Craig, Reed, and Griff Martin as you head out on the road. So sit right back and buckle right in. It's the Wake and Bake Morning Show.
The Stone Roadie Show, podcast 325. Roll 'em if you got 'em. Alrighty then. Good morning, fellow earthlings, and welcome to the Stone Roadie Dimension here on Monday, September the 1st, 2025. And hey, it's the end of the Labor Day weekend. And yeah, I had me a good old time this Labor Day. Went to behind me, you'll see on the green screen, Jeff Gajewski and his lovely wife, Sherry. And I went to their house for a lobster roast here Saturday and had a big time. Yeah, good food, good. Yeah, it was a good time. A lot of good people there. Met a lot of good folks there. Yeah, Jeff and Sherry. Just get him a badass Mustang, man. It's cool as shit. But anyways, yeah, besides that, what else I got going on? Oh, well, my grandson Tanner, he's going to get his arm operated on. You know, he's a baseball player. He's going to get his shoulder actually operated on Thursday. And you might have saw Johnny give his little prayer vigil today. And the first thing he mentioned was Tanner, you know, that was going to get shoulder surgery. And, you know, yeah, just so you all know that, yeah, that's Tanner. That's my grandson, Chad's son, my grandson. He's a baseball pitcher, and he has to get his shoulder activated before he can go back to playing baseball. And he's got him a good doctor down there in oh, God, I don't know, Florida. Oh, he's the guy that works on the Jacksonville Jaguars, so he must be pretty good. Says he'll have him back, have him in physical therapy in like a week or something like that, and he's gonna start throwing with Brett Myers. We're gonna go through physical therapy with Brett Myers, the World Series pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. He's friends with my son Chad, and they've been friends for a long time. And he's going to work with Tanner to get him back in action, get him back into college next year. So, yeah, so that's that. And yeah, so tomorrow, actually today, since this thing airs on, we're recording this on Sunday night, but we air it for Monday morning. So, yeah, so Monday evening, that's tonight, I'm going to go to the Canfield Fair and see the Lynyrd Skynyrd band. Yeah, I took Johnny's advice and followed the proper procedures to get into a show, and called the office and left the manager a message. And yeah, he called me back in about 20 minutes and said, "Hey, yeah, what can we do for you?" And I said, "Yeah, it's about an hour from here." I said, "Yeah, I'd like to show up about 3 or 4 o'clock, and they don't play till 7." I said, "I'd like to just hang around and talk to the crew and stuff." He goes, "Yeah, no problem. How many seats? How many passes you want?" And I go, "I'm just myself." He says, "Cool. Yeah, they couldn't have been nicer." So yeah, great. So I'm gonna go up there tomorrow at the Canfield Fair about 4 o'clock. I guess maybe I'll see Larry Shoemaker. I guess maybe I'll see you there. You're going to be there. And I heard some other people say they were going to be there as well, but I can't remember what was your name, So anyway.
Little girl.
Yeah, what was your name? So anyways, yeah. So that's about all I got to jibber jabber about here on this Monday morning, and hope y'all are having a nice drive, getting up and getting ready for work, or on your way to work, or maybe you're not working today because today's a holiday for federal workers and stuff. But a lot of people have to work today, so. But me and Griff, we don't never have to work. We're retired, so one of these days you might get lucky enough to retire if you live long enough, or if you're not too goddamn fat. You might live to see some of that Social Security, but whatever. Have it your way. Have it your way. Have it your way. At McDonald's.
Well, if you are off today, then there's no excuse not to subscribe. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button, because we need to help the survivors out, and by subscribing, then that is where the monetization goes, is to the subscribers. And so, yeah, and if you got a day off, even if you don't, if you can just hit that button. But hey, Craig, you got a little donation.
Ryan Madison sent in $80 for cool. Gene Odom. Yeah.
Yeah, whenever we go to the
cash
monument,
money. Cash money.
Gene's probably not going to get.
Gene.
Yeah, he's probably not going to get much money because he gets paid up front. He's been back paid all that money.
We sent him $1,000 here last couple months ago. So he's got a little.
And
I'll just send that. I'll figure what he's got coming. Just send it to him. And everybody else, all you other forgotten survivors, I'm gonna get you all paid up here too before October the 20th. So if you decide that you need some extra money to go to the monument, you won't have an excuse that you don't have the extra money, but you might not have the extra money once you get this money. But it ain't much this time,
a lot of people.
I already gave everybody $1,000.
Yeah,
and it was there's not that much.
Well, if you want to donate, you can still donate, and just email Craig at thestonedroadie@gmail.com and help out the survivors. There's 5 of them, which stay tuned, because at the end of the podcast, I took, speaking of a donation, I took Gene a check from Rick Walker and gave it to him. And Gene had some nice things to say about Rick Walker. And Rick Walker, he's a guy that commented on the podcast, and I gave him a little bit of crap about something that he said about second helping, and then turns out he's a pretty nice guy, and we appreciate that donation. And Gene made sure he made a point to say thanks on the end of the podcast. Here you'll see that video, and then he does a little update on all the other plane crash survivors that we raise money for. So stick around for that. And that's only going to be about maybe 15-minute little video there. But what else you got going, Craig? Anything else?
No, I ain't got nothing going on. That's I think that's all the jibber jabber. And
well, I talked to Greg Martin the other day. The guy that took Ed King's place when Johnny broke his thumb or finger, or what was it he did, Craig? Johnny
Ed broke his finger. Yeah.
Yeah, he broke his finger. And so Greg Martin took his place. What year was that, there, Craig?
Well, it was early. It was.
Yeah.
I think Randall was still in the band, so that was 89, 90.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
89 and 90, 91 maybe.
So you guys know Greg Martin from the Kentucky Headhunters. Real nice guy. I had a great conversation with him, man, probably about an hour on the phone, and talked about a lot of cool stuff. If I would have recorded that, it would have been a podcast. I mean, it was. So we'll just go over it all again whenever we have him on, and that's probably not going to be the next one, but maybe the one after that, because we're doing an interview with him on the 11th, I believe it is, Craig and I. So keep listening for that one. That's going to be pretty interesting. You know, he's a really talented guitar player, and if anybody wants to ask any questions for Greg, then go ahead and put them in the comments, and I'll write them down, and that'll give you plenty of time. You know, I'll go on the next comments and write them all down, and then we'll have some questions for him. So, you know, you can ask him anything, just as long as it's not political. He doesn't like to talk about anything political. But what a really nice guy, really a great Christian. And so, yeah, looking forward to that. And
yeah, I took well when he did those shows, I got out in front and filmed him playing, you know, the songs he played on, and sent him a DVD. Oh, years back. And then I still have the tape, but I guess you sent me some of the footage. And I'll put together as much of it as I can and put it on the green screen behind me. So when he's on the podcast, you'll be able to see him playing with the band on my green screen.
Yeah, I got some YouTube videos that he sent me, and I sent them to Kent Griffith, who he downloaded them from YouTube for me, and I got some links. So between Craig and I, we'll get some video footage, because there's some really good footage of him playing up on stage. The guy's a phenomenal guitar player. He was telling me when Johnny broke Ed's finger, Ed could still play slide, but he couldn't finger the frets, so he could still play slide. But he said, I don't know how well I did with him, but you know, I did my best. And I said, man, I'm sure you did great. And he must have, because Gary actually gave him a call before they got Mike Estes and asked him to come, you know, join the band with him. And he had too many things going on with the Kentucky Headhunters, and so he couldn't do it. So he'll talk about that. And like I said, you guys want to ask him any questions, look him up, find out some more about him, and then put some questions in the comments. So with that being said, we can go into the comments, and then we'll leave a little room here. The comments for the last podcast, we'll leave a little room here for the Gene Odom video that I took. I went over to Inverness, where Gene lives, and we were sitting outside in my car in front of Gene's favorite restaurant over there. And Gene, man, his neck is really jacked up. You know, you'll be talking to Gene, and he like kind of like does a weird thing with his head, and he says he's trying to put his head back on his spine. He says it's not. I mean, it's not funny, but it is. You know, and
it's not funny, but I can't help it.
Yeah, but you know, and he'll take like
put his head back on.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, it's not funny, but.
No, it's
not.
That's
funny. Trying to put my head back on.
But you'll be talking to him, right? And then Gene will go like this. He'll go. Like that. I mean, you know, and I can't help but laughing, you know. I mean, he don't get mad at me, but you know, Gene, he's good at laughing at himself. Like, you know, when he was supposed to go up to New Jersey because this guy, he's a rich guy up in New Jersey, and he invites Gene every year to a party, and he sends Gene a plane ticket. Gene tells this story a little bit there in the end. And so Gene had a hell of a time getting to the airport, never did make it. And he said a cop pulled him over because he wasn't speeding. He was only doing like 15 miles an hour in like a 40-mile-an-hour zone. And the cop goes, "Man, what the hell's wrong with you? Are you drunk?" And Gene goes, "No, man." He goes, "I'm tired." And the guy goes, "Well, what's wrong with that? Your eye?" And he goes, "It's plastic." Because Gene's got a glass eye, which I guess is plastic. So the cop asked, what's wrong with your eye? And he goes, "It's plastic, man." And I guess the cop felt bad for him, so he let him go. But yeah, he tells that story. You got to hang around for the end of that with
God.
Gene.
He calls me every now and then. He's funny.
Yeah, you know, he's doing something with his head now. He's like getting it all in position, and you know, he's probably in a lot of pain. You know, and if it were you or me, you know, we'd probably be at the house like crying in our beer or something. But you know, Gene, he's still going out and cutting the grass and working on his car, and you know, things that when you
He's
feel
always
like,
needing money for something. That's why when I says I get money, I send it to him.
yeah,
I'll send this money right out to him.
And I just ordered him a bunch of T-shirts, and he, you know, he always, what I do is I order them for him, and then when he sells them, he pays me back. So I like to make sure he keeps shirts in his car for when he goes around, because when he runs into people, you know, he sells a shirt and he gets some extra money. So I'm going to try to get him stocked up on some shirts for when he goes out to the monument, which you guys need to go out to the monument. And it's going to be, he talks about the monument, which I think the 20th is going to be like on a Monday or something. So we'll get you the dates and the details for what's going to be going on when we get a little bit closer. It's still a little way out, and but it's going to be that weekend around the 20th. So Gene will be there, and I think Mark Howard will be there. Mark Frank's going to be there. I think they're going to have like some shirts and stuff to sell too. So I don't think Paul Welsh is going to make it. From what I understand, he's not doing too good. But Craig's going to be there, and then of course I'll be there unless I know one year I think the last time Craig and I went, man, I caught COVID out there. You know, don't let that deter you. But that kicked my ass. I thought I was going to die, you know. And of course, Craig and I, we were hanging around, you know, the whole time. Craig didn't get nothing. He was fine. He was totally fine.
I don't never get sick unless I drink too much.
Yeah. We talked about that
anymore.
We talked about that on the last podcast about how Craig hasn't thrown up in 30 years unless it was self-induced. But you know, I get food
I seriously
poisoning.
haven't had the flu. I can remember having the flu in 1972. I think 1972.
Well, you said it's because all those shots they gave you before you
Yeah,
went
it's
overseas.
74. I got all those shots, and I haven't been sick since. So, you know, I can't diss those vaccines because back then they were good, I guess, because I haven't been sick since.
But I don't remember.
I got shot. We all got shot with everything that they could possibly think about making you sick, and your arm got messed. You know, got a big blister on it, and from all those shots. But I haven't been sick since.
Did you have to get them every time you went
No,
overseas?
no, just that one time.
I don't
And
remember.
it left a big mark on your arm, and you couldn't mess with it, or it would scar your arm. Yeah,
Didn't
my
you get?
even my what do you call those things you get when you were a kid? Yeah, even that scar's gone. That scar was there
Oh,
for a
okay.
long. That
I
scar was
thought
there
that's
for a
what
long
you were
time.
talking about was that thing that you get when you're a kid. But I guess you
No,
got.
even that's gone. But no, that other thing, yeah, it was there for a little bit, but it went away. Yeah, but that thing you get when a kid, it was there for a long time.
Yeah, I don't think I have
Mine's
that.
gone now.
Yeah, mine's gone too, huh? But yeah, I guess you got like what the guys in the military got or something when
We
they
got
went overseas.
things for every damn. I don't know what it was, man, it was a lot of shots, but it made your arm all swell up and
I
stuff.
wonder if everybody that went overseas back then had to get a vaccination before you flew. I don't know. I don't I never went when when I was young. I never went overseas, so I don't know how that worked because they don't make you get it now when you
Oh,
go
I'm just
overseas.
looking at something funny that I never noticed before. That you can pretty much see how I made that backdrop, so you could pull it down. Where I made the cups that went over the poles that went up, and put the rod on the top with the cups made out of duct tape, and so it cupped over those
Oh, you're
poles.
talking about the flag in the picture?
Yeah, the flag. I'm the one that had to rig. That was one of the first things I had to do as a roadie is figure out how to rig that flag. So I just put it on a roller and put two poles up behind it and put it up behind the drum riser. It's about all you
Yeah.
can do with it.
So you just
Pretty cool.
recognized your handiwork.
Yeah, I was just looking at it. I went, oh wow, you can see that pipe with the cups on it. That just you just put the up, uprights on it and put the cups down on there. It worked really well. But
Was there something?
as soon as the band would come out, I would pull on it, and it would unroll. Just unroll. It worked pretty well, but sometimes on outdoor gigs, as you can see on Ed's side, it's kind of the wind's kind of taking it.
Blowing it around. I wonder what happened to that flag. Do you know what happened to
I
it?
don't know. We got the big one. I don't. It went up. It went up in a studio. In the studio, we put them up in the studio.
And then somebody snagged it or
If
something.
I
Huh?
got it, I don't know.
Man,
After the yeah,
that thing's somewhere right now, and that's a collector's item for
yeah,
sure.
you know,
But you
stuff like
probably
that
had
was
several of them.
hanging on the walls at Jacob Street, and you know,
I saw a somebody posted on Facebook. I guess Skynyrd was up in the New York area recently, and they got a pretty cool tribute to Gary Rosington at the I guess going on now at the show that you're going to get to see, Craig. It's going to be, and you're going to take video while you're there, huh?
yeah, I'll take my DJI camera.
Yeah, which is what Robert Wheatley got us right here, and this is what I
Yeah, those are
videotape
cool.
everything for On the Road with Griff Martin. We appreciate Robert Wheatley doing that. As a matter of fact, I videotaped Gene, and what's great about
They
it is
sound great. The
yeah.
microphones, they got the sounder suppressors or whatever they do with them. So they sound great, man.
And from
And the
what I
video
understand,
quality
you
is
can't get
excellent.
any more of those cameras. So, we had a bunch of them for sale on the podcast here, and the money was going to the survivors. And if you got one, you got it cheap. So,
Yeah,
all the
like I
pod-
said, I'm gonna go early, and I don't know. I'll go there. They'll probably be all set up by the time I get there because I don't want to spend the whole day there. You
yeah.
know, all the equipment will be set up, but
Well, hopefully they won't shut you down when you're going around with that camera and tell you, "Hey, man, you can't." It's going to be
I
interesting to
don't think
see
they will.
what happens. But hell, that's just like home to you being backstage, Craig.
Oh yeah, I still know some of the roadies. I still know some
Yeah.
of the guys.
and you never know. Maybe Johnny will bring you up on stage, during What's Your Name or something.
I'm gonna be out front.
That would be funny as hell. Well, hopefully he'll mention you anyway. Which so we'll be looking forward to seeing that. Ought to be on the next podcast, right, Craig?
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah. So the next podcast,
whenever I film of that show, it should be on the next podcast.
Yeah. So you got some really cool stuff coming up. You got Craig going backstage to the Skynyrd concert, which he's going to tonight. And
it's at 7:00. Yeah.
Yeah, so put on
7:00 tonight they start. So I'm gonna go about 3, I guess, something like that. I might.
So Craig's probably gonna wear something.
It's the Canfield Fair, so that's one of the biggest fairs in Ohio, and that'll be the first time I ever went to a Skynyrd show there. I guess they played there a few times. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just never heard about it.
And you said, so what are you gonna wear? You gonna wear Leon's vest up there or something?
No,
no, that would be neat, man. It'll be something to make you look skinny, I know, because Craig likes to show off, that he's still slim in his older years, Probably wear a pair of pants undersized and have a New Jersey vagina like.
I don't wear tight pants.
But I'm looking forward to seeing that myself. So yeah, stay tuned for the Craig Reed backstage at the next concert.
I don't know how guys wear those pants like Johnny wears that are real tight on the bottom of your legs. I can't stand those things.
Yeah, I think those are going out of style now.
Them things, I can't stand it. I like bell bottoms. I don't like tight legs, straight.
Well, me being from Florida, I just wear shorts everywhere. That's basically what I do. But in the wintertime, I got to break out a pair of jeans every now and then. But, I kind of, I'll even wear shorts if it's freezing outside, unless I am going somewhere and they require long pants. But flip-flops and shorts, man, that's me. But that's not. If I were going to a concert or something, I'd put some jeans on.
There's people around here that still wear shorts in October and November, but I'm not one of those people. I see shorts. I see people wearing shorts because it's getting chilly up here. It was 40 last night, I think.
Yeah, they say there's an unusual, unseasonably cool early fall happening up north, and it's supposed to extend on into the winter. So, yeah, there's some like a El Nino, whatever.
Yeah, it's global warming.
Yeah, right. Well, I hope they don't have any hurricanes down here. I'm not wanting. This is hurricane season for us, and it's not that we're scared of hurricanes in Florida. That's not what we're worried about. We could give a damn about the hurricane itself. It's the not having power and cleaning up the mess afterwards that sucks.
Wicker.
So that's what I'm crossing my fingers. I need to
Wicker.
put a prayer into Johnny to say, hey, say a prayer that we don't get any hurricanes, because this year, man, I'm not in the mood for a hurricane this year. So you guys say a prayer for us in Florida that we don't get any hurricanes, and we'll say a prayer for you that you don't get any tornadoes or floods. Oh, there's... Yeah, there's Johnny and Gary.
They're very easy to provoke.
But it's all over. Yeah.
No, it's funny.
They got it out of their system,
Oh, they do it a half a dozen times a day. They get into it.
Well, yeah, they gotta. Who's the boss though, Craig?
Oh, I don't know.
But they're licking right now.
Wicker could dominate Leon if he wanted to, but I don't know. Leon's a little tough little son of a bitch. I don't know.
But isn't it Leon that's the one's always stealing stuff?
Oh yeah, Wicker too. They're both a
Yeah.
couple of thieves. Oh god, yeah.
I guess when you first put them up there,
Anything that hits the floor, yeah, both of them are a couple of thieves. Anything that hits the floor.
Didn't you say somebody dropped some medicine one
Oh
day?
yeah, somebody dropped a couple of Some guy has some muscle relaxers. He goes here, I'm like, to another guy, and two of them dropped on the floor, and then the dog started walking funny. I said, "How many of those things you got?"
Shit.
He said, "Yeah, we dropped two of them. They both got one.
They got one each?
Yeah, they were both staggering. I mean,
See,
they ate a muscle relaxer.
They've been watching you, man. They've been whenever.
Oh, if it hits the floor, they're gone with it.
Oh yeah, they want to get a buzz like
No,
Daddy.
if it hits the floor, it's theirs. They're gone.
Yeah, that's because it ain't because they just like to be like Daddy. They want
Oh, you can't. Anything that you put together, you can't do it in the same room with them if you've got pieces, because all the parts will be gone. Yeah, you'll be. Yeah, that's happened.
So like if you buy something at the store,
You're trying to put something together and you're missing a piece. Yeah, you'll find it
and I'll never forget that time that you were yelling at Leon because he stole the pipe, and I said, "Ain't no way in hell he stole that pipe. That was a big metal pipe, and he goes, "I'm telling you, Leon got it," and I was like, and he's yelling at Leon. He's like, "Leon, where's my pipe?" And Leon's looking at him like, what are you talking about? And I thought, no. And then about 30 minutes later, I look over and Leon had the pipe in his mouth.
Oh, God.
And he said, "I told you he took it." And then he had to chase him. He had to chase him under the chair for it. And they're a lot smaller than when you see them in person. They look bigger on the film for some reason, but they're little tiny dogs. Yeah, but they're hilarious. Okay, well, I think that's all the stuff that I had written down here to go over in the jibber jabber, and then we can go over these. We got like 20 comments and questions. We'll buzz through them, and then you guys can watch that little video of Gene at the end. And then, of course, like always, it's Happy Trails, which Lynyrd Skynyrd now plays at the end of their show, right?
Yeah, that's gonna be amusing. I gotta stay.
You need to videotape the Happy Trails.
That's what I'm on.
That way we can play it at the end of ours. Yeah. So
now, if they don't do it, you'll know somebody was watching and told them not to do it.
Yeah. But I think they stole it from us.
Oh, that's just a coincidence.
Yeah, it must be. But what a strange one, though.
No,
okay.
If they start playing "See You Later, Alligator," I'm gonna call foul.
Yeah, they started playing "See You Later, Alligator," then we'll know that's something's up, man.
That's a low blow.
Okay, let's jump into these comments and questions here. First thing we got here is our old friend Scooter Weed, who wants to know whatever happened to that red truck that was given to Gene at the monument. Actually, when I talked to Gene, I asked him about that because I know Scooter Weed keeps asking about that, and Gene talks about that truck. So stick around there, Scooter Weed, and he talks about the red truck in the video. So he can answer that question for you. And then let me see here. Oh, Roy Cox. I was talking about wings. We were mentioning something about wings, and I was wanting to know who that young guitarist was in the band Wings. And Roy Cox said that was Jimmy McCulloch. And he was 21 years old when he joined Wings in 1974. He only stayed with them for a couple years, and then he left, and he OD'd in 1979 at the age of 26. And for what I read on the bio on that guy, he was like, man, he was playing guitar at a really young age, kind of like Dyer Davis, that the guy that we had on the show who started playing when he was like 4 or 5 years old. But yeah, Jimmy McCulloch, heck of a guitar player for Paul McCartney's band Wings. Not sure why we brought that question up there in the last podcast, but thanks for answering that there, Roy Cox. And Scooter Weed again says, I like the podcast, which I asked you guys, say, hey, put down when you started watching the podcast in the comments and what you liked about the podcast and what kind of work you do. Scooter Weed says, I like the podcast for when Wicker and Leon go at it. Craig should do that as a regular thing. Well, there you go. Scooter Weed, you got another
I done
one.
did it already.
Yeah, so he already did it.
It's not much of a request. All I got to do is get him in the same spot, and it happens.
Now look at Leon now, right there. He's a good looking dog, man. That's a good looking pup there, that Leon. And Joseph Yema, what kind of boat was the Bad Company boat? That picture of Craig and Chad that's sitting out the Hell House dock. Wasn't that a Ranger bass boat?
I think it was. Yeah.
I believe it was, yeah. Which, back in the day.
I'll ask Ronnie next time he calls.
Yeah.
Ronnie's in prison,
Yeah, and I heard, I think somebody told me that Dale might still have that boat. I don't know if I believe that or not.
No, I don't. I don't.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Boy, I wonder where that boat is.
I don't think Gary had that. I don't know.
Of course, I have the boat Bad Company 2, which is not a bass boat Ranger, but it's just a bow rider, and I named it Bad Company 2, TOO, not 2 like the number 2. But Craig said, yeah, put 2 like TOO. And then I had Gene sign it. So Gene and I, we go fishing out in Bad Company 2 all the time, and people comment on it. It's a 1980 boat with a 1978 Mercury on it.
It's
two-stroke.
It's 2 TOO. Like
yeah, TOO.
2 as well.
Like also.
Instead of the number. Bad Company 2 as well, yeah.
And you still have those those vests for sale there, don't you, Craig?
Yeah.
Because Becky Nickham says, take those jackets to the monument and take up tickets for $20 so people can win them. Well, that probably ain't going to happen, but Craig might take them there, and if, hold them up and say, anybody want to buy them? I don't know. It's too difficult taking a raffle for that kind of stuff.
I could buy a roll of tickets.
But it's a medium and a small, isn't it?
Yeah, the Rossington Collins vest is a small. And the jacket is a medium, and it's too small for me.
Well, that might be something to think about there, Craig, is to raffle them off. If we don't get rid of them before then, they're really good.
They're nice jackets.
Yes, yeah, they are.
The vest is the Rossington Collins one, though.
Yeah, so I believe you held them up on the last podcast or the one before that. So if you want to check them out, go look at them. Just a couple podcasts ago, Craig shows them off. And Javier Medina, yeah.
Medina.
See, I'm getting to remember some things. It's been so many of them that they've made, and
he's made a bunch
donated.
of them.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be making a Stone Roadie one. Somebody mentioned making a Stone Roadie, and he wrote me. He said he's working on it.
Oh, cool.
And so I sent him a picture of he said, here's a couple of ideas, and I gave him a thing of where the Stone Roadie's written out,
Yeah. All right.
and and then the one with where the statue of the guy sitting on the case with a jug with a jug in the mouth, yeah, the statue.
Oh, and
I don't know if he'll use those or not. Those are just ideas.
oh, and while I was there with Gene, I had him sign a bunch of these stickers, as you can see, and Becky Nickham. If I haven't seen you. I think you might be a new subscriber. If you send me an email to edwg59@gmail.com, I will send you one of these stickers, but that's only for Becky. Nobody else email me. And Becky, put your name in there. And if anybody else wants any of these stickers, email me at edwg59@gmail.com, and you can purchase one of these. But Becky, you get one free. So, I can't give them all away, but I'm thinking about giving one out on every podcast just to the subscribers, but only one, because that time I gave out a bunch of them. I had like 6 of them I gave out, and 20 people said, "Hey, I'm looking for my sticker." And so that I kind of got broke off in my ass on that one. But I sent them all out, but that won't happen again. Let me see here. Nathan Smith. I just heard Artimus whistle at his show on Saturday. He did it at the end of the show. I wonder if it was for Ronnie. Yeah, on the last podcast, I was talking about how I'd seen an interview with Artimus and how he was talking about Ronnie taught him how to whistle. And so, yeah, when you hear Artimus, and they're on tour right now with Barry Lee Harwood and Bo Bison, if you hear Artie whistle, that was because Ronnie Van Zant taught him how to whistle. I don't know if he's using his fingers anymore or if he's off the fingers, but Ronnie taught him how to do it with his fingers, and I think after you do it for a while, you get used to it. And I can't whistle loud. Can you, Craig?
No.
Yeah. You never asked Ronnie to teach you how to do it?
No.
Yeah, that would have been something.
I can whistle Andy. That's about all I can do.
I used to have a couple cockatiels, and then I would watch that Andy Griffith show, and they picked up that shit. And every time I walked into the room, I heard Andy Griffith whistling. The Andy Griffith show, and eventually I had to give them away. It was driving me crazy, man. The tow truck driver came over to the house, and they were whistling, and I was out there working on the car, and he goes, "Yeah, that's cool as hell." And I go, "Yeah," and he goes, "Man, those birds are cool." I said, "You want them? You can have them." And I gave them away. Yeah, it was driving me up a wall, man. And I had those birds for like 10 years. They're probably still alive, Craig. I heard
probably those birds live a long time.
That was probably 40 years ago. Oh, God. And then Nathan Smith, when we were talking about the stickers, he's the one that I sent some stickers out, and he got just an empty envelope, and I had to send him some replacement stickers because I guess somebody got my mailbox, and these kids in my mailbox, they get my mailbox, and they if they see something in there like a card or something that I'm sending to somebody, they take the shit out of it, and they put the empty envelope back in the box.
Is that how you mail stuff? You put it in your mailbox?
Yeah, well, if I'm in a hurry, but
Yeah.
from now on, I'm going to go down to the post office and put it in the big box because I can't trust these kids around here in the neighborhood. I
Yeah.
mean, they don't do it all the time, but unless it was the mailman, that's the only thing I can think of. Uh, but it's happened about 3 or 4 times now. So if it's something important, I take it down to the big box there.
I have to go to the post office every 4 or 5 days. Anyways, yeah,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
speaking
Wheelchair
of,
Chuck got his thing sent out.
so Craig has sent out the first
Yeah,
prize.
they're going out. I'd
Craig
send
is
out more, but I'm too busy going to lobster things and Skinner concerts and you know
Well, you prize winners,
sending out
Craig's
those
trickling
prizes.
them out. They are getting out. So just hang in there because
I'm
wheelchair Chuck.
getting old, so the older I get, the more I tend to just do what the hell I feel like doing.
But we haven't heard from wheelchair Chuck in a while, have we?
Do what?
We haven't heard from wheelchair Chuck in a while. So
No, no, he's been cool. He's been
once he gets them,
he's
maybe
still
he'll.
recuperating, man, from that when he was trying to work out to do the wheelchair races, and he was
He's still
using
really.
some machine, and he ripped the hide off. Something happened, and he's
Damn.
still in therapy from that or
Yeah,
something.
Craig and
Saying he's still having
wheelchair Chuck were going to have a race, and he was
Well,
training.
we had it scheduled at Dragway 42 from Warren. He was going to rig it so we'd have a wheelchair race at Dragway at the racetrack at Dragway 42, and he was prepared that we were going to have a wheelie race at Dragway 42. Yeah, but
Then he got sidelined. Oh man.
yeah, and then he was training for that and got on some kind of a machine
Mm.
and hurt his because he can't feel it, I guess.
Poor guy. Yeah, I knew a guy who was paralyzed, and we were at a party, and somebody pushed him up by the fire, and his feet got cooked. He didn't even
Oh,
know it.
wow.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
bad. They were like real, like third-degree burns, and
Wow.
yeah, I'll never forget that.
That would
And
suck. Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, you got to be careful, man. You got to be careful. And Rick Walker, the guy who donated Gene the money, and I took the check. He says, "Thanks for mentioning that I donated to help Gene out." He says, "I hope that'll inspire others to do the same thing." So yeah, anybody, if you've got donations, just email Craig at thestonedroadie@gmail.com and send your donations because we're coming up on the festivities on the 20th at the monument, and that's when we'll hand them out. So appreciate anybody that can do that. Brian Gibbons,
Well,
he's a guy.
while we're on the subject of wheelchair Chuck, though, I actually I had his number, so I called him. Said, Chuck, I'm about to send out your package, and what color kazoo do you want? He said, man, I don't care, So, so Chuck, I signed you a yellow one, but yellow looks pretty good with a black marker, so. You're gonna
Yeah,
get a yellow. Yeah, when you get your
good.
package, you're gonna get a yellow kazoo if you're watching. But
Yeah, it's
yeah, anybody that's a prize winner, if you want to, there's white. Your choice is white, um, blue, yellow,
red.
orange, green, red. There's only a couple. The reds are most all gone. People have already requested the reds. They're just about gone. And then there's purple and purple, green, yellow, white, blue, um, yellow,
And
red.
those came from cousin Figel. Sent you a bunch of
Yeah, I
them.
got quite a few of them. Oh yeah, dang it! Cousin Figel sent me 3 boxes full of stuff a long time ago to auction off for the survivors. and I talked about them, but nobody really hit on it. Robert Wheatley did a little bit. What it is, he had all of the fan club things that were sent out, over the years for the Freebird Foundation. They had that fan club, and they had a newsletter that went out, and there's just stacks of those. I guess it's from day one all the way until it was no more, and there's just a box full of them, and I couldn't see selling them individually. I would think if somebody was into that they would want the whole set, and thought maybe people would want to bid on that whole collection of those Freebird Foundation newsletters. And then he sent me a whole box full of guitar player magazines, So if anybody's got a particular guitar player magazine you want, bid on or whatever, I don't know, but yeah, I've got all that stuff, and he was telling Kathy Godsey that he sent it to me, and she acted like I hadn't done anything with it, and I said, well, I had mentioned this stuff before, but nobody really. But it did kind of slip my mind. And then there's a lot of other pictures and stuff in there. But,
Well, anybody's interested in that stuff, and get in touch with Craig at thestonedroadie@gmail.com. And,
yeah, I meant to dig it out. I just, got tied up.
Yeah, if you got a Skynyrd collector's room, that'd be great. Go through some of that stuff, and I don't know. What do you think it's worth, Craig? What would you want?
I have no idea, but individually, it didn't make sense to have just one individual thing. This is like the whole collection it's those newsletters is what they were, the Freebird Foundation newsletters.
Well, send an email to Craig and work a deal out with him on that, and I'm sure it's going to have to
want that whole collection.
Yeah. It's going to have to be
put them up for bid. I totally spaced it out again. I know where they're at, but I just kind of spaced it out. Yeah, and there's that. There's a bunch of guitar player magazines, and then there's a box full of pictures and I don't know, all kinds of stuff. But I'll dig it out, and I went through it once before.
Okay, email Craig if you're interested in that. Work a deal with him. Back to the comments. Brian Gibbons, he was talking about on the comments where I asked how you started watching the podcast and why and when. And old Brian says, I watched the podcast mostly to laugh at Craig and some of the things he says. I met Craig during the fat shaming process. Yeah, he's there's a lot of people that's lost weight off of Craig's fat shaming process,
Well, the things I say make sense to somebody that listens to them rationally. I mean, I know because I was there, man. I mean, I know what you're going through.
And he hasn't given up on that. He's still relentless on his Facebook page, just constantly posting pictures.
And all the people that have lost massive amounts of weight and say that I was really an influence on that will testify to the fact that if you listen to what I say about eating, you will lose massive amounts of weight. But, it's not hard. You just got to... it's mind over matter. It's how bad you want it.
Yeah, at first, when you watch the podcast,
addiction, man. You got to break that addiction. You're addicted to eating.
And you hear Craig, talking, making fun of fat people, and it pisses you off, and then it makes you want to watch it again, and then finally you go, you know what, man, maybe he's right. And the next thing you know, just like Brian said, he said, well,
He's lost 150 pounds, and when he said, "You used to freaking piss me off, man. Who in the hell is that guy?" And he tried to find something I'd said that was wrong, and he couldn't find anything that was wrong. He said,
yeah.
"There's, he's just, there's nothing he's saying that's wrong. He's trying to help you. You're fighting with yourself not to listen to him. Hey, I lost 80 pounds. I know a little.
Yeah, he
I
knows
know
a
what
little
it's
about
like, man. It's hard.
it.
It's mentally hard. Once you break the mental thing, it's easy. You just got to break that addiction to eating and just eat properly. And it works. 10 months, you'll lose a lot of weight.
Yeah, if you're morbidly obese, you need to start watching because Craig really picks on the real fat ones.
It's hard when you're that big. It's tough, man. It's just like
And just
hopeless,
think you save money because you get off all the medicine.
Oh my God, the food. So people complain about how expensive food is, and then they massively overeat. It's like funny.
Well, a lot of it is what you
if
eat.
food's so expensive, why do you eat so much of it? You don't need that much.
It's a comfort thing, you feel good.
I guess it's to fight depression. I guess I smoke weed. I'd rather smoke weed to fight depression and then eat. It's better for your body.
All right, back to the comments here off the fat topic. Mopar Dad, I love the show. I haven't missed one. I'm a truck driver and haven't missed one yet. I listen while I'm driving down the road. I don't care how many times Craig bangs the ashtray and moves up and down.
Yeah, a lot of people can't. A lot of people can't see what I'm doing because they're riding down the road. So
Yeah. A lot of people, they just listen. They don't watch. So
yeah,
you got to watch.
A lot of people do. A lot of people just listen. They don't. They're not watching.
Then we were talking about plastidills and quaaludes and stuff like that on the last podcast. And Monty Fisher says plastidills were anal suppositories. I don't know about that. Maybe that's what you were doing with them, Monty. He says the red ones were 500 milligrams, and the
green ones were the badass ones. Yeah.
Craig said you poke a hole in them and stick them in your.
Oh mouth. Yeah, take a needle and poke a hole in them. Yeah.
Yeah. Good God, I don't know about that suppository thing, man. If anybody knows for sure.
I never heard that one before. They were suppositories. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's kind of weird.
And then Tim Fawcett says, I took a Quaalude back in the 70s. It was maybe a Roar 714. I remember waking up on the hood of my buddy's 74 Nova going about 100 mile an hour down the road. That'd be scary as hell. I know when I did one, I was on the way home and I heard a really loud smack. And I was like, what the hell? Did I run over something? And then the next morning, and this was in the 70s, and I was probably like 17, 16. I got up and I went outside, and my side mirror on the passenger door was gone. And there was a tar mark where I'd scraped it off with a telephone pole. So about another 2 feet, and that could have been there would have been no Griff Martin to talk about. So, yeah, that's what those Quaaludes, and you'll fall asleep at the red light, all kinds of stuff with those things, man. I'm glad I survived them.
Plastidills are the ones that'll put you to sleep, but the Quaaludes, that's what the mark across them was for. If you couldn't handle them, you broke them in half. They were easy.
Yeah.
They were easy to break in half.
I know. I had to work up to a full one. I only took a half, and then finally, after I got used to them, I could take a full one. Craig was probably taking 2 and 3 at a time.
No. I would eat them a half at a time. I'd eat half of one and in half hour. After I'd drink a little bit, I'd drink it and eat the other half.
And David Selder says, I got my stickers, Griff. I got them for mentioning the Ozzy Osbourne comment, something about when we were talking about Ozzy. And he says, I'm going to frame them and put them in my music room. Yeah, so anybody wants to purchase any of these, email me at edwg59@gmail.com. Monica Buffington. I love Gene. He's such a nice man. I asked him about his merchandise and he called me. Had a great conversation with him. I went to the monument last spring. I'm looking forward to going back again this year. Yeah, hope to see you there, Monica. That's it's like a big party, man. There's when you go there, they've always got bands playing and stuff, and then at night there's a little pavilion that Dwayne Easley has back there that he people go back there and play acoustic guitar and stuff like that, and have usually something back there to snack on and stuff like that. So you guys try to make it this year. 70 Brine started listening to the podcast early in the spring of 2022. I'm 54 and have listened to Skynyrd since I was in elementary school. I enjoy watching the podcast while I work. Well, thank you for that there, 70 Brine.
I can't believe we do 300. We've done 324 of these.
Yeah, 325 now.
I was at this party, that lobster party I was at the other day, and I was talking to we was talking about eating lobster, and I said, I just said, yeah, my fifth wife, and they just all kind of went, what? And yeah, I said, my fifth wife. I said she would never eat lobster. And one time I cooked some lobster on the grill, and I said, here, just try this. And she tasted it, and she goes, oh my God, you mean I've been keeping myself from this? I didn't think I would like it, I haven't had this my whole life because I didn't think I'd like it. And she loved it, but it was funny.
I know when
she liked crab. I didn't understand why she wouldn't eat lobster, but she just wouldn't eat lobster.
That's like that Seinfeld that when George Costanza, he went in the pool and he had shrinkage, and the girl saw his shrinkage and was laughing at it. And then she was I guess she was a vegetarian, and he put some lobster in her eggs. That was a good one. Any of you folks that watch Seinfeld, I know you know what I'm talking about. Sammy Jackson, I stream the podcast on my television. I never miss an episode. Keep up the good work. And then Calhoun wants to know the dates for the monument. Well, that'll be.
What were we talking about when I went off on that thing about lobster? What was that?
Your ex-wives?
Well, no, but what was that? Why did I say that? Because there was something that was just. There was something else I was thinking that I wanted to say.
I don't know.
Oh, God.
I don't know, Craig.
That was just a side thing.
Yeah.
I had something important to say, and I forgot what it was.
Well, if it comes to you.
No, it won't. I've lost it. I was going to say something, and then I thought about that, and I said I just thought I'd mention that, and I'd talk about that other thing later, and now I forgot what it was.
I know you were saying something about, you mentioned you had 5 wives, and then...
I was at the party, but now I can't think of what I was going to say. I don't remember why I was going to say that.
It must have been something you smoked or something.
I don't know. It might be them damn... what are them gummies? I ate a couple of them a couple hours ago. I think they're kicking in.
Remember last week we didn't know who Greg T. Walker was? It sounded familiar. Well, he was a bass player for Blackfoot.
I know he was a bit. Oh, okay.
Thank you for that, Jason.
Okay.
I recognized the name, but and so Jason helped.
I think
us out
Mike Estes played with him. I think Mike Estes.
Oh yeah,
played with him. Pretty sure.
Sure. And then the last comment, David Hester said Kimmy has been commenting as Nolan Ray. So Kimmy is around. We was wondering where Kimmy was. And so she's, I guess, changed her name. Maybe she doesn't like the old username because we were calling her Crazy Kimmy. So is that what it was, Kimmy? You don't want to be called Crazy Kimmy, so now you're Nolan Ray? You're still always going to be Crazy Kimmy.
Oh, whatever.
No matter what. But anyway, that's all the comments there, Craig. And you guys stick around for the Gene Odom video that's coming up right after this. It's not a long one, but you might get to see Gene in the beginning moving his head around. I don't know if I left that in there or not, but yeah, his neck is jacked up, man. When I was videotaping him, he goes, "Man, I can't turn my head that way," And you know what I did? It's something else I got to mention. I had Gene do a message for me, and I'll put it on here. It was on my phone. I remember when I did that show Dirty Jobs with Mike Rowe, and I asked Mike Rowe, I said, "Hey, I want you to put a message on my answering message on my phone." And he goes, "Man, I can't do that. Contractually, I can't do that." And so at the end of the filming, he goes, "Griff, hand me your phone. I'm gonna do that for you." And so he left a message, and he said, "Hey, this is Mike Rowe, and Griff's on a dirty job right now. He can't come to the phone, but as soon as he cleans up, he'll call you back." And I had that message for a long time, and then I ended up losing it on my phone somehow. So I had Gene do a message for me on my phone, and I'll put it on here, and you guys can hear it.
"Hey y'all, this is Gene Odom, Griff's fishing buddy. He can't come to the phone right now. He's in the process of reeling in that big old bass like Ronnie caught in 1977. Could be 15 or more pounds, but he'll get back with you as soon as he can."
And if anybody is interested in Gene doing a message for him for a donation, I think he would do that for you. So I'll put it on here. You guys see what you think about it. And if you're interested in it, contact me at edwg59@gmail.com. And for a donation, we'll hook you up with Gene, and we'll figure out how to get you a message on your phone. So you guys stay tuned for the video coming up. And that's all I got there, Craig, for this Stone Roadie 325.
Well, that's all I got for sure. So happy trails to you until we meet again. And see you later, alligator, at the Wild Crocodile. We're going to call that a wrap, and we're going to see this video here next. And later on. Bye.
Okay, I got Gene Odom here, and I rode over here to give him that check, and that fella donated, and it's Rick Walker is the check. And Gene just wanted to thank Rick for his donation. Remember, Gene, I called you on the phone the other day, and you're on your way to the monument, and I told you about that, and you said, "Man, that's gonna work out good because
man."
Yeah, so Gene just wanted to thank you. And so what you want to say about that, Gene?
I'm humbled, and this will help me out a lot to get some t-shirts paid for. But Ricky Walker.
Ricky
Walker. I appreciate it, man. And I see you live over in Tavares. I might just stop by your house one day and surprise you and bring you a souvenir. But I sure appreciate it. Thanks.
And when you were out at the monument this last time, Gene, what's it like out there now? What's going on? A lot of people coming?
Yeah, man. Still a lot of people from all over the world. Most from Switzerland when I was there. Walked up and this person from Switzerland came over. And it's really the #1 walk-up attraction in Mississippi. It gets more people than Elvis Presley's house, Elvis Presley's monument.
Yeah,
People from all over the world, man.
Didn't you say that they're coming like on the cruise ships in New Orleans, and that's like one of the things that they wanted to do, that they put on their to-do plan is to go up to the monument?
Yeah, and when they pass by, if they're coming from anywhere on a cruises from New Orleans, they see that sign on the side of the road says Lynyrd Skynyrd Monument. Boy, that sign brings men. They come down there by the hundreds. I mean, especially on the weekend, you know.
So they're just rolling in one right after another, huh?
A lot of bikers, and Harley Davidson has something called HOG thing, Harley Operator something, where they go, and every year Harley has 10 or 15 spots, and they have a magazine, and it's got a picture of that spot, and you go there to this stop, Harley, place that's in the magazine, and you click it on your phone that you're there, and
other people see it?
Yeah, and Harley Davidson sends you a challenge coin for going to that Harley Davidson stop, and the Lynyrd Skynyrd Monument this year is one of the Harley Davidson stops.
And when I was in there and Gene and I were eating lunch, he said, "This is my Chinese redneck buddy on the phone. I need to answer this." And Gene met some Chinese guy who he's a fan of Gene's, and he's really an Asian guy that got
he's Chinese,
little accent and everything, but he's a Lynyrd Skynyrd fan.
Big Lynyrd Skynyrd fan, and he drives a subway up in New York, subway train, and he sent me a pair of boots, but they're like slip-on, and they're too small, and I just had to call him and tell him that the boots are too small. So he said, send them back, and he said, I'll return them. Give me another pair of boots.
What do people like whenever that you see them come pulling up, and do they come walking up to you, and then you say, "Yeah, I'm Gene Odom"? Do you tell them who you are, and then they get surprised because there you are, a plane crash survivor. Yeah. They're at the monument, which is close to the crash site. I bet they thrilled to death to be able to talk to somebody like that.
That's the last thing they expect when they come to the monument, is to meet a survivor, Gene Odom, you know.
And Dwayne Easley, you know, who was right there. He's always there too. Huh?
They recognize him too because of the videos, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of them recognize me, you know, and they come over and want to talk, you know, tell about the fans that they are, and stories, you know, and just coming to visit the monument. You know?
And you're going to be at the monument on the 20th. Craig's going to be there. I'm going to be there. You're going to be there. And what's going on there, Gene, this year? Anything new that we need to know? I know Lone Star Skynyrd's coming.
I don't think it's the 20th. I think it's going to be the 17th.
Oh, okay.
Because the 20th, I think, is on a Monday.
Oh, gotcha.
And so the 17th and 18th is going to be with the band.
It's going to be the whole weekend.
Yeah, where the bands are playing, and the food trucks and stuff, you know. A lot of people are going to be there for that, you know.
And Craig and I, that's where usually we give out the checks that we've got off the podcast for the year, split it up amongst the 5 survivors that are on the list of people that get the donations. And that's all because of our subscribers and the people that donate money, and from the podcast. And you know, Gene, man, he looks forward to meeting all those people, and
man, I'll tell you what.
And that helps pay the expenses too, to be able to come up there, you know, stay in a hotel and gas money. And like Mark Howard, you know, he'll probably come. Have you talked to Mark lately?
Yeah, I talked to him about a week ago. He actually called me because he's going to print up some T-shirts for when he comes, to try to make a little money.
Yeah.
Asked me how many shirts he thinks he should bring, you know. And they're still messing with his leg, you know. He's
having trouble with that prosthesis.
I said I called Curtis Lowe's grandson, Claude Hamner, who was on the store, Claude's store, which we called him, Curtis Lowe. His son's son, which would be his grandson, no, Jesse would be his grandson. I guess it would be his great-grandson. His son's son is a PhD. He invents things for body parts and so forth and so on. He's such a whiz. He invented the new type of artificial leg, and he's the head man at Stanford University in California. He's the big wheel. So Mark was having a problem with the skin peeling off his leg, and they can't get it right. So I called Jesse. I said, "Can you call your son at Stanford and see if he can't get some help?" And man, about an hour later, Mark Howard called me on the phone.
Oh, really? So you got in touch with him?
Yes, sir. He said, Gene Odom. He said, "Man, that's the best thing that's ever happened to me right there on my
So is the guy working on it for him then? Is he?
Yeah, he's doing something,
Well, that's great. It helps to know people,
Shoot, yeah, man. Especially.
Have you heard anything about Paul Welsh lately? How he's doing?
No, I haven't talked to him lately, and I don't have a number for him. But if I could get a number, I'd call him up. But I don't think he can understand him. Somebody might have said you can't understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of shape he's in,
How about Leslie? Have you heard anything from Leslie at all lately? I haven't heard anything. I called her around Christmas, sent her a Christmas card, and I don't know, maybe she's not feeling good.
She moved to a different location in Middleburg.
Oh, she moved out of her house?
She moved to another house.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, and I don't think she's as...
That's pretty stressful right there in itself, moving,
Yeah. I think it was maybe Craig or you or a check or something. I got in touch with her about sending her no, it was that guy out there in Louisiana that donated that money, and I got in touch with her about the guy wanted to send her a check, and we spoke briefly.
So you did talk to her then?
Yeah, I talked to her on the phone briefly.
How long ago do you think that was, Gene?
Oh gosh, probably 6 months or more.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good because I haven't heard anything from her since then. So at least, that's understandable. From what she's been through and having to move, that's pretty stressful. So
yeah.
How about Mark Frank?
I called him about a month or two ago. We talked briefly for a few minutes.
You think he'll be at the monument?
Yeah, he'll probably come.
Yeah, he usually comes.
Yeah, if he gets a ride, And I think he bought him a little truck with that money we sent him. Got him a little used truck, so he might drive.
Somebody was asking about that red truck that you got donated to, and and they want to know what has Gene still got? Yeah, Gene still got that. It's kind of hard on the wallet as far as gas, right?
It's the most horrendous 4-cylinder engine you ever met for eating up gas. That's why I try to keep that car running, because the car gets 3 times the gas mileage as that truck does. Yeah, it's running good. When I got that, nobody would try to fix that part because getting up in there would tear their hands up. Nobody would do it. Had to pull the whole engine out. See, it's easier. The guy says it's easier to pull the motor out than do that. So nobody would fix it. And I got down there looking at it, and it's the fender well, and it's got the inside. Inside the fender well is the fender part of the frame of the truck. And I went, man, I can cut a half moon out in that, and they can just put their hand right up in there and do it.
Yeah, who cares?
So I took my grinder and I cut that half moon out, and I went back down to that guy that works on. I said, man, look at here. I cut a half moon out of there. Now you can just get right up into it. He said, I can fix it now in 15 minutes.
that saved you some time.
Yeah, so he put that. I couldn't do it because I couldn't see it from when my eye being bad. I couldn't get into position to see it. But he fixed it, you know, and it runs good. It's just a gas hog.
Yeah, it's just it's very expensive. You wouldn't think a 4-cylinder would be like that, but you don't see a lot of Colorado. That might be why that guy gave it away to you, huh?
and Bug Osteen told me, he said, "Man, I wouldn't touch it." He says, Chevrolet Colorados and the small Chevrolet truck. What's the S10?
Yeah.
The one I kind of had.
The S10, that's a Chevy, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
He said, I don't touch Colorados or the small truck, the small Chevrolet truck. What is it, S10 or something like that? He said, I don't touch them things. They ain't nothing but trouble. He said, I'll pull a gun on you if you try to bring it in my yard and want me to work on it.
Yeah, there's some vehicles like that, and they cost you money because they take time to work on.
Yeah.
And and you like when you do a tour over there on the west side, that's how far is that from? We're in Inverness right now. How long does it take you to get there, Gene?
It's 3 hours up to Jacksonville. The tour takes about 3 hours, and 3-hour drive back 9 hours. So it's a 10-hour day.
So taking a gas hog that far, and then you got that little Volkswagen that's always got a little something going on, and it's barely got any air conditioning in it.
10%.
Yeah, that's the car Gene and I were in whenever I said, Gene, does that radio work? And he said, yeah, man. He said, most of the time when I turn that radio on, the first song I hear is a Skynyrd song. And I said, well, let's try it out. And Gene turned it on. I'd be son of a bitch if it wasn't I forget what song it was.
I don't remember, but in Ocala, they started this little station a couple years ago. It played country and rock, and they called it the crossroads of country and rock. And man, they played Skynyrd, the Allman Brothers, Southern Rock, 38 Specials. I mean, especially Skynyrd. Every day you could hear 20, 30 Skynyrd songs, 20, 25. They pushed that radio station, and you always constantly, especially Skynyrd. So I found them. I located them. There was 2 or 3 people working. It's a little bitty place. I went in there, and I said, hey, I'm Gene Odom, and I just want to thank y'all for playing my old fishing buddy's music so much. Y'all play it just constantly. Said, yeah, we're building this station. So the station got bigger. Their advertising got bigger, and so they cut back on the Southern Rock so heavy, and now they got, I guess, marketers come in there and say, hey, we want to do this, but we want you to play some newer country or something, so they don't play as much Southern Rock as they used to. So I'm going to go back over there one day and chew their ass out.
Well, tell the story here. Recently you had an invitation to go up, was it New York?
Yeah.
And you had a little trouble getting to the airport. Usually when I get pulled over by the police like you did, I get a ticket.
Man, I tell you, Eddie, I can't think of his last name, but Eddie has a house in Jersey on the ocean. He's got $1 million condo in Midtown Manhattan, and he got a big $1 million home over in Staten Island. So y'all know what that means. And we're friends, and he has a party every year. He gets all of his school buddies. They're all retired police officers, firemen. A lot of them are at the Twin Towers when the shit happened. And so I went up there a couple times for the party, and they invited me up, So this year he's bringing me back up there for his party, and he made the flight for like 6:59 Friday morning.
So you live in Inverness, which is a 3.5-hour drive. So you had to get up what time?
I didn't sleep. I tried to sleep a little bit because I knew I had to get up early and I had to drive. I didn't want to miss the flight, so it was rough. So I didn't get no sleep. So I started driving there about 2:00. I left the house because it's a 3.5-hour drive to the airport from here to Jacksonville. So I'm going down Moccasin Slough, going to the Circle K to get some coffee. And I'm driving to Circle K, and just as I'm going to turn left and come into the Circle K, boop, 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 lights. And he followed me into Circle K and I parked. And he walked up to the car. First thing he said, buddy, so you been drinking? I said, man, I don't drink. I've never drank. I said, I never done no drugs or booze or cigarettes or nothing like crazy shit. He said, well, man, he said, you're all over the road. And you said, you're only driving 15, 16 miles an hour. I said, what? I said, I'm hauling ass. He said, no, man, you're driving 15 or 16 miles an hour. That's all you got. And I said, I've been up all night because I got a flight in Jacksonville at 6:59. And I tried to sleep, but I couldn't sleep, and I was up all night. And I said, actually, I'm real sleepy. He said, I can see in your eye, you know. What's wrong with that eye? And I said, oh, that one's plastic. He said, oh, he said, and he said, man, you can't drive 3.5 hours.
Probably shining a flashlight in your face.
He said, you can't drive. He said, man, you can't do it. He said, where you live? I said, right back down in Moccasin Slough down there. And he said, I'm gonna follow you. He said, you gotta go home, son. He said, you can't drive. You're sleepy. You're asleep. You can't drive.
And you didn't argue with him, huh?
No, hell no, I didn't argue with him. So I went home and I called Eddie and told Eddie, I said, man, look at here. I gotta get some sleep. I can't drive. He said, all right, I'll change the flight. So he changed the flight till Saturday morning, same flight, 6:59. So I got some sleep. So I'm driving up there. I get out and get all the way up on 301.
Which is about how far from your house?
I was probably, oh, wait a minute, before we got there, when I started to driving up there, I was in the Volkswagen. And I got to Hernando, which is 7 miles from the house. Beep, heat light, indicator light, come on, red light flashing.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
And started overheating. I went, my God, I can't drive all the way to Jacksonville. You know, so I turned around, went back and called Eddie on the phone. I said, man, I said, this car's overheating, Eddie. I said, I got to get back and get the truck. You know, man, it's going to be tight. So I ran home, got the truck, stopped and got some gas in the truck.
The gas guzzler.
The gas guzzler. And I'm driving, and I'm hauling ass. I get down, all the way down to 301, and I'm going towards Stark. And I'm hauling ass, and boop, 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 boop. State trooper pulled me over.
So here we go again, Gene Odom.
Man, oh man, oh man. Doing 70 miles an hour in a 55 zone. He came up to the car, man. He said, boy, you hauling ass, ain't you? I said, yes, sir. I said, I'm trying to make a flight that I missed last night in Jacksonville. It's 6:59. And he said, buddy, I can tell you right now, you're 3 hours away from right here. He said, you ain't gonna make it. He said, you had to run like hell to make it. You ain't gonna make it. I said, well, he says, man, I'm gonna give you a warning, a verbal warning, but you ain't gonna make it, and don't you know, you're gonna have to fly. I said, no, I'm gonna turn around and go home. He said, that's the best thing you can do. So I turned around, come back home and called Eddie. I didn't get a ticket both times, 2 times. You get stopped by 2 state troopers, you know.
That's
a
Gene Odom good luck.
Gene
right
Odom
there.
good luck right there. And I went, that's just as too many omens for me to get on that plane. So I called him up. I said, Eddie, look here, man. I just got pulled over again. And I said, I didn't get a ticket, and I'm not going to be able to make it for that flight. I said, I just ain't going to. Just too many omens, bad omens. I said, y'all have a good time. I'm going to miss this one. And I come on back home.
You probably would have drove there knowing you, because, you know, you'll jump in the car in a moment's notice, and, you know, your daughter lives up there, and where she live? Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, yeah.
And, you know, a lot of times you'll go down to Oklahoma, you'll stop at the monument on the way up.
I was going out
the way
there.
back, yeah.
I was going to the monument. This trip, I went to the monument. I was going to Oklahoma. But her 2 sons are moving back in. And she said, Daddy, we're going to be moving back and forth all weekend. We're going to be tied up and everything. And you have to get a motel room because the boys are moving back in. And
you always take that Volkswagen. How many miles on that Volkswagen?
Over 300,000.
Damn.
Over
Is
300,000.
it tapping? Does it sound all right? The engine still sound all right?
I changed the oil right from when I left. Yeah, it's got. I think I might have to put another sensor on it because
And you said it took a special coolant. That's what was wrong with your.
it takes Mercedes-Benz Volkswagen coolant, and the coolant was down a little bit, And when I put coolant in it and filled it up, it's running cool.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Well, we just wanted to get an update on you, Gene, and find out what was going on at the monument, see what's going on with you, see what you know, and what you might know about all the other survivors that we try to help out on the podcast. And sound like we know pretty much about everybody but Paul Welch. So appreciate all the information, and Ricky Walker, thank you for the check there. Gene appreciates it.
That's just gas money, and I'll try to call Paul Welch. If I don't get him, maybe get his sister. I don't like to talk to her, But I'll see if I can get in touch with Paul. Check on see how he's doing.
Yeah. All right, Gene. Well, thanks a lot.
All right, Griff.
All righty.